Hi everyone, a very warm welcome to the Science of Mind Club. And after a small break, we are back with yet another powerful episode where we have our guest Alison Hatton joining us from UK, and we are so privileged to have her with us on this podcast, and especially because for two reasons. One is definitely she's a very seasoned hypnotherapist, and second, I feel that she's a great change maker where she is empowering individuals, especially women in their midlife. Great work that she's doing. She's a Reiki master, a teacher, and we look forward to listen and learn from her at how we can make our lives better. So a very warm welcome to this podcast, Alice.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Lovely to be here.
Great. So, Alison, your journey has been quite wonderful, and I especially liked the kind of work that you're doing, contributing to people in a very special way. Where did all this journey started from?
Like many therapists, I've been on my own healing journey. And sometimes I think that's why we come to it, because of what we've learned. We want to share that with others. We want to help, and we want to make that as easy as possible. I've been really lucky along the way to have met some beautiful teachers, healers along my own journey. Because I grew up in sort of emotional chaos, if you like. And I think this leaves a person being a people pleaser, losing their identity a little bit, doing for others. And it's only when I really got to work at Women's Aid, so that's a UK charity that helps women that are in difficult situations. And I worked with them for a long time, and it was a real privilege to help people come through that emotional time using what I've learned. And so this was a natural progression, really, to start working with people one-to-one. And I think I came to hypnotherapy. I'm a trained counsellor, obviously, as you say, Reiki master teacher, and hypnotherapy sort of joined all those things together because counselling is fantastic. But with hypnotherapy, the beauty of it, it's so quick. You can go back to a specific time. You don't have to relive it. We just touch on it briefly. And we can make real profound changes through the subconscious. And that's why I feel that, that is the way to go, really, to bring all that experience together to help others.
Lovely. That's very powerful, and I can see that you are really anchored on all these different modalities which are helping others, making them better. That's really powerful. And one quote that I really admire from one of my heroes is Carl Jung, and he says that life really does begin at 40. Up until then, you are just doing research. Okay, and
I
and
love
there is a very special segment that you have chosen to help women to in their midlife. What was so
it.
special about this choice? Can you share with our viewers?
Yeah, because we get to midlife as a woman, obviously as a man as well, you've got lots of responsibilities growing up, looking after the children, making sure your marriage is secure, providing financially. And women, sometimes lose themselves. And then you get to a point in midlife where you think, gosh, is it too late? Can I make these changes? And maybe empty nest syndrome, the children leave home, so you've lost a bit of your identity. Maybe you're in a career that's no longer lighting it up for you. You want to change. Is it too late? And this is why I chose this group to show that it's never too late to change your inner story, because we're all brought here, I believe, to bring something special to this earth plane, and to find that inner thing that you want to do and have the courage to go for it. And it's often in midlife where you haven't got all those responsibilities and you think, my gosh, time for me, and having the courage to go for it, but also getting rid of the self-limiting beliefs so that you believe you can do it. And this is what hypnotherapy can do. It can change your inner story. You can rewrite your story, which is what's so great. And it's never too late. So, yeah.
Brilliant. I think that definitely appeals to us, and especially in the context where I come from, even in India, a lot of women who are, in various roles in professional world, they definitely, take a break, or sometime in the midlife, they get face to face with a lot of these challenges. And I think that is where the real help of a coach and a guide like you is very, very important for them. And yeah, that's a great track. Who were some of your more, inspirational figures, or I would say that who were some of your role models when you started on this journey? What actually kind of motivated you? Are there any stories that you would like to share with our audience?
Really, we think about celebrities and icons and role models, but when I was working at Women's Aid, my actual role models, because I was still healing then, it was only working at Women's Aid I realised I was still carrying some of the trauma. And my role models were the people I spoke to on the phone that came through that journey, that actually healed and went on to create great lives, not just for themselves, but for their children. Breaking that cycle of intergenerational sort of trauma, if you like, because the children sort of grew up in the environment and they learned things. But for that woman to be brave enough to walk away, start again with their children and to break that cycle, I think that was my inspiration. That's what, encouraged me to want to work more with this client group. Yeah. I saw it on a daily basis, people come into refuge, give up their homes, come into a little room with their children. And I instinctively remember one woman with 3 children, teenagers, and they're all sat on the bed. And I went up to make sure they were okay. And there was this real haunted look in her eye, as if, oh gosh, have I done the right thing? And she had. But she went on to change those children's lives, to put them in a safe place, a safe environment. And that was the bravest thing a mother can do. And I always remember her. You always remember certain clients, but that one in particular, which she was amazing. Yeah, inspirational.
Brilliant. As you shared that, 2 things come to my mind. While we were growing up, like in our Indian home, my mother was earlier a teacher, and then she took that break from her career. That yes, I have to raise these 2 boys, me and my younger brother. She took that decision. It was definitely hard, and for her to give up that career, but then she made sure that we get the right education. So I draw a lot of such inspiration from my mother. And second is one of our learning leaders in one of the organizations I worked with. She has a similar story where it's a story of where she has reached a point which was all challenging, and then she had 2 kids, and with that she kind of built it up, and now she's known as a role model. I think in her journey as well, or let's say in journey of all these women, I think that there is a point where a healer like you or a change maker like you comes and kind of helps. And it kind of reminds me of Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, where we meet with such kind of guides. So great, phenomenal, and thank you so much for holding that space.
That's okay. Yeah, it's when we have children, isn't it? We just instinctively know that we want the best for them, the best environment. And sometimes it inspires us to make the changes we need to make, but we need help sometimes, don't we? Yeah.
Absolutely. And talking about this, you also kind of have, you can share with us, because these are the life stages where individuals are going through, and maybe every stage has got something or the other to teach us. Can be some of the insights that you can share with our group, so that we can recognize that, and then we can kind of take some steps which can help us to pivot our way in the right direction.
I think sometimes we get to a point in life, normally in midlife, where you have this sort of nagging sort of feeling that life's not quite right, but you keep pushing it aside and you keep pushing down your own feelings and your own wants, keep the peace, keep small and all that. But I think you get to a point where if you feel depression kicking in or anxiety, I think it's time then to look, isn't it? Because your body is trying to tell you something, all these emotions that you can't keep pushing down. And just to be brave enough to do it, but you've got to listen to your feelings. You not just push them down with maybe drugs, with alcohol, with shopping, with all of these sort of maybe addictions that we can sort of pretend that it's making life feel okay, these short-term hits, if you like, to get us through. We need to be authentic, I think, to what we really, really want, and be brave enough to take that sort of step, and be brave enough to listen to our feelings instead of just trying to numb them down. So I think that's a bit of a turning point when you feel you're doing things that maybe aren't very good for you.
In fact, so rightly mentioned, because I see, and especially people around me, and especially in my context as well, I find that, and it is happening all over the world, where people are giving into these addictions, or there are cases of anxiety and depression as well, and all the more sometimes it goes to another tangent where people are not aware of these patterns, and these patterns, they start to control them. Like one of my friends I know, and she was into this midlife crisis, and then I don't know, to kind of overcompensate that feeling, she started going on some shopping frenzies, and she is kind of has this collection of whole bags, but still deep inside her, she's not feeling completeness, she's not feeling satisfaction. So I'm curious that, let's say, you as a expert in this field, Alison, if you can share with us, what can be some of the techniques where we can recognize these patterns and interrupt and break these patterns? That will be, I think, really helpful for our audience.
Sure, yeah. One of my favorite things I like to do, really, we hold trauma and subconscious, in our subconscious, we're not even aware of the pattern that is there, but it's really sort of there. And so my favorite thing is to use a timeline technique where we can go back to a specific time and your subconscious knows exactly what it is, where something might have happened. And we can look at that and we can reassure that younger person, be it in adolescence or maybe as a child, and to go back to that point and to reassure them with the knowledge you have now, the wisdom you have now, and reassure them and let them know everything's going to be okay, everything's going to work out. And it gives them feeling of safety, feeling of being heard, feeling of being reassured. And that can be so incredibly powerful where you've been holding on to trauma for a long time. And then we ask the subconscious to find a different way, because all the subconscious wants to do is to keep you safe. It has your absolute best interest at heart, but sometimes it doesn't choose great things or great ways of doing it, or just wants to keep you safe. It's doing a fab job and it can do a better job by asking it. So we communicate with your subconscious and we ask it to find a better way. And as you know it's safe, we can reassure that younger you. Reassure it's safe to find other ways. And that can be hugely empowering. So that's probably my favorite technique when it comes to sort of letting go of those limiting beliefs, letting go of the fear, because your anxiety, your depression, it all comes down to fear at the end of the day. And you just want to feel safe. Yeah, so that's what I like to do. And I do it to myself as well through self-hypnosis. We can go back, and as a younger you can then ask to look at yourself now, feeling confident and powerful, step into that person, feel what it feels like to be that way, and it can be tremendously empowering. Yeah.
Brilliant. I would say that two things I surely love about the way how you explained it. First is, I don't know, you have this amazing voice, Alison, where the moment we hear it, we are getting that comfort and that positive energy. And all the more these insights are so very powerful. And I think it is very, very useful for our community, because this is a community where people are interested to learn about the mind sciences and this whole concept that you have shared, that subconscious taking decisions out of fear, and you kind of interrupt that. And with timeline being one of the best techniques, which is known for the change makers, where we can definitely give that assurance to that inner child and bring it to rewire. So I think that those are some really powerful insights that you're sharing.
Sure. Even for people who aren't quite ready for hypnotherapy, there's so much you can do just through the imagination alone in a quiet time. So if you're meditating, for example, or you just want 10 minutes out, some people say, I can't visualize, I can't imagine, but sometimes you just have to try and create that feeling and use your imagination, because it's a powerful tool for change, isn't it? So even if you're not ready, you may be a bit worried about hypnosis, you just use your own imagination in a quiet time and just imagine what your life could be like. Imagine what it might feel like to feel confident and powerful, and try and step into that and feel it through all of your senses. because we use an NLP as well. And yeah, all our senses are so powerful. We're more powerful than we realize. We don't use half of what we can be using in our mind, and it's just a wonderful thing when you know that all of these sources are here right inside of us. We've got them, haven't we? We just need to learn how to use them effectively.
That's so self-assuring, and it is kind of inviting the inner resources, just like the way you said that, just trusting that inner power and kind of building that up. I think it is so very important. A lot of times we don't know that where these patterns are coming from, and a lot of the marketeers or advertisers, they are aware that how do we create those triggers. But I think what you have given as an insight for our audiences, that you can be in control, can bring out the power of your subconscious mind, your unconscious mind, and take it as a. So that's a very, very nice insights for our audience. What can be some ideas that, let's say, as a professional, and especially a lot of our segment is also of people who are in their midlife, what is it that they can do as a daily practice which can help them create that space of connecting with that inner power?
Yeah, I think it's helpful to use a journal. And when you wake up in the morning, I think the morning routine is really important because it's how you set your day. And so it's really important, I think, to write down sort of what you want to achieve that day, power sort of statements, if you like, because we tend to waste a lot of time. But if we set our intention for the day, and then that can be really helpful, and because it's telling your subconscious mind what you want to do. And also at night to write 5 things you're grateful for. Oh. Because gratitude is amazing. The subconscious, your mind loves to feel grateful because it wants you to have more of that, because what you think, what you put out there, you get more of. So very, very important saying, be careful what you wish for, is so true. Because if you're just surrounded by negativity and you're thinking negative thoughts, you'll get more of them. But if you try to look at the gratitude, even in the tiniest things, if you've had a really bad day, there's got to be something that you're grateful for. Even clean water, the fact that you've had a lovely meal, or anything, that the love that somebody's shown you that day. I just think gratitude is huge, because you'll get more, it will bring good things to you. And write it down in a little book, and you can look back on it when you're having a difficult time maybe, and thinking, well, actually, I may be having a bad day, but look at all the things I'm grateful for. Look at all the good things in my life, and you'll get more of it.
Brilliant. That's such a amazing insight. I would say that, and in a way, I can see that you are kind of switching the energy wherever people have that negative spiral of fear, of anxiety. There is a clear-cut switch that you're making for the listeners or the viewers of this podcast, that be intentional about your day and be in the gratitude and unlock that power of that. Powerful insights. Amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
So I know that you practice in UK, and a lot of your clientele is based out of UK. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, what is the way in which you work, and how someone can get in touch with you, what they can expect to kind of start a change work or a coaching journey with you?
Yeah, so I've got a website where there's all the contact details, breakfreehypnotherapy.co.uk. And through that, I've got my email, there's a contact form, my phone number, or we can arrange a Zoom call. Some people just like to put it through an email to start that way. Some people just like to chat straight away. So I'm always here to talk to. If you've got any questions at all, anything you're curious about, doesn't have to book a hypnotherapy session. You just want to know more about the process. Because I always like to share what it's all about, because some people are just curious, they don't know much about it. So to find out more would be great.
And I think that's quite amazing, and especially in the world where we are so connected with technology, I think it's all the more important for people to understand that, hey, help is so closer to them than ever before. And there were at times people just get trapped, and especially I don't know about UK, but then in the Indian society, we have a little bit of a taboo, like, okay, should I raise my hand and should I ask for help? But I would say with the, through the medium of this podcast, that friends, mental health and well-being is a very, very important topic for this era. And there is absolutely no concern in raising your hand and saying that, hey, I need help. And you have such amazing coaches like Alison, who are ready to help you. Or as and the sheer intent with which she's doing this, the insights that she's sharing, absolutely amazing, and you should definitely take that. So Alison, with your permission, I'll also give the link to your website for the friends of our community who would like to get in touch with you. And definitely, this is a very amazing space in which you are operating.
Thank you. That'd be great.
So before we kind of even wind up, or before we even close the session, what will be one insight or message that you would like to share with this community of learners?
The main thing is, it's my little mantra that I say, it's never too late to realize your dream. It's never too late to find that courage inside of you, because that person inside of you is already there. They're just waiting to come out and play. And I do firmly believe that.
Love the kind of insights. It's never too late. Have that intentionality for yourself. It's completely fine. And be in gratitude. I think some amazing insights we have got. And thank you so much, Alison, for your time and sharing these beautiful insights and the techniques which are helping us rediscover our inner resource.
Thank you. Lovely to talk to you today. And thank you for the invite. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you. It's our pleasure. Brilliant. And definitely, I'll also let Anthony know that we recorded this special episode on his birthday. Yeah.
That's lovely. Yes. Yeah. I'll see it. I'm seeing Anthony online on Sunday, because I attended a little group session in London, the Winter Burn it was called. So we've got a little session on Sunday. So it's always lovely to see him, isn't it? He's very inspirational, isn't he, our teacher? We're very lucky, weren't we?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do share my regards to Anthony and Freddie. Yeah.
I will do. Yeah. I did mention you when I was in London, and I said about our group, and I said about you, and he said you're the most amazing student because you put everything into it. He said you had totally the right mindset for learning. Yeah. So he was really complimentary about you, which was lovely.
Thank you. He's kind. I think we learned a lot from both of these stalwarts of hypnosis. And the only thing that we can now do is just to pay it forward.
Absolutely. This is it, isn't it? It's to share what we've learned. Yeah.